ゆいちくん、この世で最も大切なのは、
わかってるよ。お金でしょ。
Yuichi from Todomachi game has a very devious dark side that he manages to both recognize and control. Despite his mysterious past and capacity to be very dangerous, Yuichi finds balance. Just like him, you have a dark side too. Everyone's dark side is different. In this video, you will learn how to recognize your dark side. Step 1. Acknowledge that you have a dark side just like everybody else. I know you want to think of yourself as this perfect human being who is a shining light that touches everyone around you, but you are wrong. You have a malevolent part of you that you hide away from others for different reasons. Sometimes because it makes you look weak, ugly, creepy, or undesirable. The bigger your capacity for good, the larger your capacity for evil. Just like the sun, when it gets closer, it casts a larger shadow. Yuichi accepts his shadow, but only uses it in stressful situations when his life is in danger. This confrontation is the first test of courage on the inner way, a test sufficient to frighten off most people. For the meeting with ourselves belongs to the more unpleasant things that can be avoided, so long as we can project everything negative into the environment. But if we are able to see our own shadow and can bear knowing about it, then a small part of the problem has already been solved. We have at least brought up the personal unconscious. The shadow is a living part of the personality, and therefore wants to live with it in some form. It cannot be argued out of existence or rationalized into harmlessness. This problem is exceedingly difficult because it is not only challenges the whole man, but reminds him at the same time of his helplessness and ineffectuality. Carl Jung. Step 2. See your shadow. A. Overreactiveness. Did you experience any emotional outbursts lately? Something that made you really touchy? What was it? Do you have any one-sided traits? Like an insatiable desire for planning? A heading opposite could be living underneath it. For example, you want to control everything because you are deeply a chaotic person. From the outside you appear organized, but inside you are erratic. What remarks indicates that you are overly sensitive towards? They might hide something, some sense of insecurity. Take a short trip down memory lane and try to reflect on your past. Your moments of fear and sadness, of pain and sorrow. How did you react to these situations? What triggers that made you feel this way? Were you justified in your feelings? Are there any hidden patterns? Remember, be curious, not judgmental. Yuichi overreacts as a strategy to instill fear in others. Playing with a calm demeanor then explodes out of nowhere. Don't imitate this habit unless you want to project an aura of unpredictability. In peacetime, figure out what gets you to overreact. So in wartime, you are better at managing it. B. Projection. What negative qualities do you project onto others in groups around you? What qualities that you dislike in others? Interests that annoy you? Pet peeves that make you avoid people? Actions that push you to judge them? Do you have any of these traits? Any of these interests? Do you commit any of these actions secretly? Any of these pet peeves? How do these qualities show up in your life? Be honest with yourself. Do you accuse people of being controlling, dumb, and treacherous? But deep down, you might have been disloyal or have irrational tendencies. It could be something you are repressing in yourself, so make sure to be aware of that. What qualities in you that seem contradictory? Are you a nice girl who's secretly a control freak? A virtuous man with deep-seated kinks? An authoritative leader with a feminine touch? A hippie with a passive-aggressive nature? A rebel who is emotionally dependent on other people's approval? Make an effort to write this down in a journal for best results. Yuichi doesn't judge the brunette after her Playboy secret gets exposed in the second game of the series. He doesn't reject her. and project a fear of not being sexually competent that men usually have as a reaction to promiscuous women. C. Over-idealization. Who do you over-idealize? What qualities do you over-idealize? What political, religious, cultural causes that you are most susceptible to? The ones that make you forget your reason and paint anyone against them as a hater, a fool, or even evil. Our ideals give us the excuse to do anything we want and feel justified while doing it. Ideals give birth to fanaticism if they grow unhealthy. Charismatic leaders channel the collective anger and hatred that people have and their shared ideals to a perfectly tailored suit that they wear. By embodying their ideals in shadow, by talking about what makes their audience angry, they gain followers left and right. Especially if the audience feels like their voice doesn't matter or have been consciously censored by the media and the authority figures. Ask yourself if you are using your convictions as a clever mask to control others and make them suffer. Is your virtue truly virtuous? What ideals are you trying to project to others? Do you want to be seen as a saintly figure, an intellectual, a desirable mate, a perfect woman or man, a tough guy, a hyper-successful overachiever, a paragon of charm, an everyman or every woman? How do you like to portray yourself? D. Fantasy and the unconscious. What do your dreams say about you? What dreams do you have? What are the feelings that you experience while dreaming? Your job is not to be a psychologist and interpret stories. Just simply listen to what you feel. Do you feel trapped in your dreams? Free, confident, desired, understood, powerful? What things are you doing in the dreams? What people do you see there? Are there any repetitive occurrences of people or actions? Do you fantasize about things you shouldn't have? What rules are you breaking in your dreams? Don't judge yourself no matter how graphic or repulsive your images are, or your shadow will find better ways to hide itself. We are yet to see dreams of Yuichi, but if we had access to them, they will undeniably reveal more about his fantasies and fears. E. Self-denial. Everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. At all counts, it forms an unconscious snag, thwarting our most well-meant intentions. Carl Jung. What things in you that you overwhelmingly deny in yourself? What's the last 5 qualities that you think you will ever have? List few things you have denied in your past. Maybe something you refuse to see in your behavior because it goes against your perceived sense of self, or something in someone you care about. You picture them as the paragon of virtue, but one day they displayed a very ugly quality you just simply chose to ignore. For example, you might deny that you never been sexist to a man or woman, or that you never cried, or never felt envy, or never been rejected by a partner. These denials betray you and reveal your deep-seated insecurities. By creating this caricature of what a person should be in your head, you hold your real self hostage. F. Over-socialization in childhood. Examine your childhood for qualities that were ostracized and pulled out of you by your parents, friends, and society. In their attempt to make us socialized and fit for society, our parents punish us for displaying undesirable behaviors that might cost us dearly. In their attempts to protect us, they create monstrous shadows of qualities that could have been made into something positive. These monsters live inside of us, waiting for their day to come, and subtly reveal themselves in cunning, intense, and even violent ways. Ask your family members about these qualities and assure them that you won't take things personally. Yuichi was raised by an adopted mother who sold herself for money, which has been a traumatic experience for him, and by a father figure who taught him all types of mental tricks and cunning schemes. His childhood was dark, and this reflects his present. So it is up to you to know yourself and outmaneuver the suppressive and repressive effects of over-socialization. These shadowy behaviors are not rare by any means, and with a trained eye, you will learn to take notice of them. They appear in moments of stress more often, and people will pick up on them and place you in icky, uncomfortable moments in context to create a fertile land for you to screw up and self-destruct. Learn to recognize things in yourself before others do. Preemptive defense is key. Rewatch this video with a pen and paper when you want to self-reflect. I'll make another video later on how to control your shadow like Yuichi. You can watch this video about how to understand group dynamics like Yuichi in the meantime. I'll see you there.